Texe, you're so right. But going back to satellites, they have now said 5 years ago, we're going to have the spy satellites watch farmers, make sure you're not planting trees in environmental areas, make sure you're not cutting down things. They're now saying they want to cut down trees because they also put out carbon dioxide. That was the new thing, that now trees are bad. And I mean, that was yesterday in the news.
They're actually haters of nature. They are. They're haters of nature.
Now, yeah, let's be clear.
They claim to be lovers, but they are haters.
They claim they want to save the earth, but that was my next point. Why do they really love to hurt it?
Well, you know, around Chicago, Illinois, when the old Horace Greeley is saying, "Go west, young man, go west." Well, many people moved to Illinois in the United States and settled around there. At that time, they didn't have any trees. They brought trees from the east. They planted them, and then of course the seeds went through there.
That's why there's more trees now than there were.
Yeah. There's more trees in America than there were 100 years ago. It's more green than it was. Interestingly enough, though, environmental organizations in Illinois are now demanding, they have actually counted, they say, the trees in suburban Illinois, Chicago. They say there are 80,000 trees, and they're demanding those trees be cut down. They want to cut down all the 80,000 trees. Why? They say, well, originally Illinois was a plain state, and it had all these grasses.
We want to
return to the native grasses.
Yeah, your new trees are an invasive species. Yeah. But see, that's it.
Well, they're beautiful trees, and thankfully.
Listen, they make you do asinine things because they know psychologically, as a psychology professor, if they can make you do something stupid, they can make you do anything else they want.
Yes, now, if it's true that Illinois once was grassland, and they want to cut down all the trees and return to grassland. But at one time, was not Illinois ice covered?
Yes.
Why don't we return to the ice then?
At one time, it was.
What historical point did we go back to?
But at one point, it was an inland sea.
There was an inland sea. Well, of course, all of these things are a means of mind control, of causing radical transformation in society, just like this new reality, this age of scarcity. Now, what I would really like is to give some evidence of how we are awash in petroleum, Alex.
Okay, Texe, stay there.
People need to have the tools and the ammunition to use.
Stay there. I want to come back during this break. If people are watching on PrisonPlanet.tv or if people are listening on the Infowars.com streams, you'll be able to hear me and Texe talk about another subject. We're going to come back and finish up with that. Texe Mars in studio with us. Absolutely amazing. We'll be right back. Okay, we're coming back in fast here. Going to keep Texe a little bit in the next hour. He's been gracious enough to do that. TexeMars.com. We'll give you all the contact info, how to get his free newsletter, and a lot more in a few minutes. But before we do that, I want to be clear here. Using the satellites, having local police dial into them, spying on you, micromanaging, that federalizes the locals, violates your Fourth Amendment. You think you're under control and surveillance now. It's all going to be done under the guise of saving the earth. Meanwhile, they're doing the genetic engineering and everything that really is hurting the earth. So we have all of that going on. And meanwhile, you read the Monsanto documents, and they say, we're going to contaminate everything, then claim ownership of the world. This is systematic wrecking of economies, systematic destruction, artificial scarcity. Texe Mars, please continue with all the points you were going to make about that, about the Depression, how they had the milk trucks, how they really had plenty, how they cut down on the credit, artificially did it, all the news articles. You've got the floor.
Well, it's important to understand that these are contrived chaos events. Contrived chaos. Remember, the elitist motto, even 33rd degree Freemasonry, is ordo ab chaos. Order out of chaos. They create the chaos, and now they're doing it with oil and the economy. They're doing it with food, and they're doing it with water. Not to even mention the contrived terrorism that we have today. That is the umbrella for all this. What I want people to know, though, is we can fight back. We can fight back. How do we do it? When they say that we're moving into an age of scarcity and all of our lives have to change and we have to become a third world impoverished nation and we just have to suck it up, that's just too bad. And we have to put up with $4, even $10 at the gas pump for a gallon of gasoline. We need to say, no, absolutely a lie. There is no age of scarcity. We are Planet Petroleum. We're Planet Aqua. We've got plenty. And we need to prove it, because we can prove it.
The blue planet has no water.
Well, it does have water. Of course there's water. There's water everywhere. There's always been water everywhere.
But water is deadly poison. We must tax it.
Well, yeah, there's
just like carbon dioxide.
There's solutions that they come up with, of course. Just like in the food area. I understand that Barack Obama introduced, as a senator, legislation that would tax the American people 1.5% of their income. The money would go, again, this is a new tax levied against us. The money then, the billions that they plunder from the people, would go to the United Nations to feed the hungry of the world.
And then that means, just like Bill Gates gives 80+ billion with Warren Buffett, you hear it's to help Africans, it's to sterilize them, give them HIV, they've been caught, force them to eat GMO food, force Big Agri in. All the help they give you is really an assault. It's just like taking money from the mafia.
Oh, absolutely. John McCain, on the other hand, to show that we're not knocking any one political candidate, John McCain, on the other hand, said, hey, for this summer only, let's knock off the tax for the gasoline. That'll save everybody, $30 a month. Isn't that great? But he doesn't see any problem at all with gasoline tripling in price. He probably would not see one problem with gasoline going to $10 a gallon.
Well, that's a
and
tax.
All companies enriching themselves.
Well, that's a tax to the globalists right there.
Well, it is. So they say no problem with the oil company profits being at spectacular record highs and these contrived shortages.
And I remember hearing them 5 years ago on NPR, because my wife listens to it, cooking dinner. And I listen, and it's always, soon the Americans will learn. Oh, I can't wait. We're so greedy and bad. Soon, we've been living outside our means.
Oh, sure. You shouldn't be driving around those big cars and going places.
And by the way,
you should be living in those cramped cities. You should be living downtown. After all, you shouldn't. What are you doing living in the suburbs?
Smart growth. That waste. But really, it's all about control. And I know a lot of wealthy people. They say, "Oh, well, you know what? So what? I can pay $5 a gallon for gas." Yeah, but their businesses are connected to the general public who can't. This is going to hurt everybody.
I don't think that McCain or Obama or Hillary Clinton or George Bush have ever driven up to an Exxon and put gasoline in their car.
Remember George Bush Sr. doesn't
They don't do that. They drive around in limos.
He doesn't know what a grocery store scanner is.
Exactly.
We'll be right back.
It just shocked him.
Jones.
All right, Texe, it does come out that there's tons of oil. A lot of the truth does come out. It's just the general public is still convinced that summer is global warming. And I noticed the propaganda intensifies then. Continue here with what's really happening.
Well, let's look at this planet awash with oil. Here I have from Yahoo, one of the major American news sources, this claim. It says oil futures jumped to record over $115 a barrel on supply concerns. In other words, we're running low. We don't have enough. But wait. The foreign press doesn't seem to want to lie as much as the American press. Maybe it's not as controlled. Here's the Times of London. Now, just as mighty a newspaper, as I was mentioning, as the New York Times or the Chicago Tribune or the Houston Chronicle, what does it say? World not running out of oil, say experts. And it begins, says, doom-laden forecast that world oil supplies are poised to fall off the edge of the cliff are wide off the mark, according to leading oil industry experts. Wow. Who would have known? Would John McCain tell us this? Would Barack Obama? Would Hillary? Would George W.? Now, here's something interesting. If we want to see that the world is awash with oil, remember what I said was it's not a matter of how much oil in the world. The world has
It's
plenty.
a delivery system.
It's a delivery system which is controlled. A contrived crisis to drive up the prices.
Well, it's like diamonds are really on the mid-scale or lower scale of even semi-precious. They're not even highly semi-precious. I mean, in Africa, they just lay around on the ground, but people fight, mortgage their house, work a year to pay for a, big rock for their wife, because that's the symbol, and literally they have giant warehouses just filled with diamonds.
Now, here's an interesting thing. Maybe people haven't heard about the oil discovery down in Brazil. But listen to this from Bloomberg.com. Bloomberg, okay? One of the top sources of financial and industry information in the world. It says Petrobras. Now, that's the petroleum company that's owned by the nation of Brazil, okay? Now, Petrobras, by the way, is a corporation as big as Microsoft, General Motors, and General Electric. It's right there in the top 5 in all of the Americas. It says Petrobras discovers world's 3rd largest oil field. This just came out Listen to this. This is a story that just ran April 14th. It says Petróleo Brasilia, that's Petrobras, offshore, Carioca field may hold 33 million barrels of oil, enough to supply every refinery in the United States for 6 years, making it the third largest oil field ever discovered, off of Brazil in the Atlantic. Can you imagine the oil there? Petrobras? Amazing.
And the Russians are found in it. It's just everywhere. It's just...
Listen, the United States, according to the industry experts, so-called, claim that we have 29 billion barrels in reserve. Hey, they've got 33 billion down there in Brazil. Forget about Hugo Chavez and Venezuela. I'm talking about Brazil. Did you know that the Brazilian stock market went wild with this? The telephone companies, anything that's Brazilian went wild. I mean, it's booming right now. Why? They have oil that's going to be coming out their ears. But wait, that's not all. Look, why do you think we're in Kosovo?